Hey everybody, and welcome to Don't Copy That Floppy. I'm your host Lex.
And I'm your other host Dan. We are your weekly video game news podcast here on ChipBit Radio at chipbit.net, as well as Twitch TV /DCTF podcast.
It's Friday, February 10th. It is 7 p.m. We broadcast live at 7 p.m.
7 p.m.-ish.
Yeah.
We're starting a bit on the later side.
Maybe they listen to it in recording and we can lie about it.
There was a big old hullabaloo snowstorm yesterday, so travel conditions have been poor.
I couldn't get out of my driveway, but that wasn't because of the snow. That was just because
I had to shovel in my driveway a bunch today.
Oof.
That's video games.
Yeah.
We're a video game news show.
Yeah, anyway, we're Fridays, 7 to 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Yes.
Video game news of the week.
Yes.
And we've got all sorts of great topics this week. We got a lot, so we should probably just jump right into it.
Yeah, we should jump right into it.
What do we got?
If you're on Twitch and you see at the bottom of the screen, there's some little locations on social media where you can find us.
Yeah.
So check those out, too. Last week we talked about this Kickstarter, Undone Yin, which is, as you see, a pixel art action RPG with roguelike elements. This game looks really cool. Last week we talked about how it had already met its funding goal.
Mm-hmm.
And now it has met it even more.
It didn't lose money.
It did not lose money. Last time we checked, it had 9 days left to go. It's now down to 61 hours.
What kind of stretch goals does it have?
That is the interesting thing right now. So far, so this is an action-adventure game where you play as 7 different characters throughout time and space, going on crazy, weird, Dark Crystal, sci-fi, freaky adventures. You have personal quest chains for each playable character, as well as new unique content, items, enemies, and objects in each.
Oh.
You have a hub world where all your characters can meet up. You have an artifact/ability improvement system similar to crafting. And that is where we're at. The next two, before it's just versions on other systems, as well as some other hidden ones at the bottom there, are Herald's Dreams, which are a combination of animatics and text quests to provide better understandings of the characters' pasts and their world's past, as well as offer an opportunity to make the characters a bit stronger. And then at an unspecified amount, which will probably be 90,000 euros, we have ultra-violent mode for extra blood and spectacular death animations.
Amazing.
So at present, I changed over the amount here, and at present they are at 72,000 euros. So they're still a little ways off from the 80,000, but maybe they'll get that last couple days push and hit that goal at least.
And that's actually one of the stretch goals that I think I'm the most interested in, because the lore of this game looks so interesting.
And that's what this is.
Yeah, it's just like, have some more lore.
And cool to say that they have animatics, so it'll be like somewhat animated cutscenes for that. Ultraviolent mode, that's fun, but not necessary, really. Yeah. And all of the other console
versions. My gosh, a PS Vita version.
The Vita, it'll have a game again. So I don't really care about the other system versions, because, I mean, you and me would just play it on PC if we were to play it. And then the locked ones, I am curious what these would be. But who knows? Commodore 64 version, maybe?
Oh, I will point out we have already goofed up a little bit.
What do we goof up?
We still say that we're streaming Knights of the Old Republic.
That's fine. Hello, everybody. If you're here to see Knights of the Old Republic, you will be sorely disappointed.
We did this last week, too. It was our best.
Yes, we did. But if you would like to see Knights of the Old... I should just start changing it after the stream. If you'd like to see Knights of the Old Republic, tune in around 8 or 8:30-ish. Depends. I post about it on our social media. Where me and my wife are playing through KOTOR. Gradually. Because that is a very long game.
Oh, yeah.
But it's good. It's going really well so far. Actually, she's got really into it. So good for you on Dungeon. You're doing great. E3.
Do you want to go?
It's happening.
You, the listener, do you want to go to E3? Well,
now you can.
Now you can. It's not just for the press anymore. Now it's for all the filthy plebes.
Yeah, look at all these filthy plebes.
That person's wearing a Suicidal Tendencies hat.
Oh, that's upsetting.
And a Zelda t-shirt. Those things don't really go together.
Sure they do.
No.
So okay, I want to say first, I'm surprised by this article because I could have sworn that E3 was open to the public several years ago.
I think that I remember reporting on something like this. I think it was like in a limited way. It was in recent years,
because this says for the first time in its history, E3 will be open to anyone who buys a ticket to the annual video game show.
Yeah, I don't know if that's true.
I don't know if that's true either.
I'm gonna call fake news on that.
Maybe I don't know. We might need to check Polygon's source on that. This is an article from the 8th, by the way. So starting February 13th, 3 days from now, so Monday, they will open sales on 15,000 tickets to consumers. First 1,000 will sell for $149 each, US dollars, and the rest will sell for $249 US dollars. All tickets are for all 3 days of the show and grant the owner full access to the show floor.
So those are expensive tickets, but I will give them credit because the way PAX does their tickets, I think, is the most horrible thing ever.
Oh, it's a nightmare.
Yeah, which is they don't tell you when they're going to go on sale. You just have to speculate, and it's a different date every year.
And it's a complete free-for-all the moment they go up.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's a mess.
Yeah.
We got them.
We did.
Somehow.
Only for Sunday. We couldn't get any of the other ones.
But we'll be there and we'll report on stuff.
but yeah, so I give them a lot of credit for being like, there's going to be this many tickets.
Yes.
The first 1,000 are going to sell like this. They're going to go on sale at this time.
Yes.
They're going to be this much.
It was nice of them. And they are encouraging... I cannot stop yawning. God damn it. Encouraging leading streamers and Twitch folks to register as media this year. So they're trying to get all those streamers in there.
Oh.
If we had that much money to throw around, we would register as media. So you're going to love this. I want to point out down here, it says, E3 had traditionally been an industry event. It did not officially allow consumers onto its game-packed floors, but the 2015 show allowed 4,000 to 5,000 of some of gaming's biggest fans into the LA Convention Center to wander as invited guests. Last year, 5,000 prosumers attended E3.
I think that was like how we reported on it because we were making fun of the fact that it was a prosumer.
Prosumers.
But so then
word.
in this article they do say it's been open to the public.
Yes.
So the first line is just misleading.
Yes. First time in history.
Except the last 2 years.
It's really completely and fully open to the public. But it has technically been open to the public before.
Yes.
Great.
And it's not just like it was open to the public for like 100 invites. It was open to the public for 5,000 people last year.
Yeah, that's still like an assload of people.
Well, the total is 15,000 this year, right? So it was a third of the attendance,
which is like it's a big increase. But
yeah,
what are you gonna do? So if you want to go to E3 this year, maybe you can. I think you and I will just watch it on the stream.
Yeah. Hey, you know what? Where is it? Is it held? It's held in Los Angeles?
Yes.
For some reason, I always think it's held in Las Vegas. I don't know why.
I don't know why either.
But hey, if we could afford airfare, if someone wants to pay for our airfare, and those tickets, I'd do it.
Please let us know by Monday the 13th. Tim Sweeney, who you might not know, but he is the co-founder of Epic Games. This dude has been calling Windows 10 garbage
ever since Windows 10 became Windows 10, which was not that long ago.
Is a man saying Windows 10 is garbage news?
Maybe not.
Or is it just like a fact? an abject fact?
No, Windows 10 is actually not that bad.
I don't like it.
I think it's far better than 8. Tell you that.
You're not going to convince me. You're not going to convince me. I've used computers with Windows 10. You're not going to convince me.
All right.
Because Windows 8, I can make it work like Windows 7.
Let me tell you something, though. If you have that Windows 7 install disk, you stick to that. Okay?
Yeah, you do. Do it.
I do. I have that, and I stick to it.
Speaking from personal experience, if you get an update on your computer that says, we are going to update you to Windows 8.1 now, and you don't have a choice, you have to click yes or yes, like I had to do, throw your computer out the window.
Just throw it out the window.
Get rid of it, buy a new computer.
Yep.
And then install Windows 7 on it and turn off automatic updates.
Exactly.
Immediately.
But no, so he's been ragging on it pretty consistently. Like he's been tweeting some crazy stuff where he's like, "Oh my God, it's trying to destroy the gaming industry and destroy Steam and all this stuff." And recently, Microsoft unveiled this sort of like client version of Windows 10 that's supposed to be for like netbooks and for like school computer use and like probably VDI machines, stuff like that. Which
it's gonna run apps you get off the Windows Store.
Yeah, and it can't run other stuff.
Right.
So one of the downsides to that is if you want to play games like your Steam games, your Steam library on that,
or your good old games,
you have to like re-download them through the Windows Store and like pay for them again.
The Windows Store that works so well.
Yeah.
What a masterpiece.
So Tim Sweeney was ragging on that because he's like, oh my gosh, they're ransoming. Windows Cloud will steal your Steam PC game library and ransom it back to you, ... for a price, he tweeted. Mm-hmm. Or actually, I don't know if he tweeted, he just might have said it in an interview. But then he later said, want to buy software from someone other than Microsoft? They will make you pay for the privilege. Disgusting and illegal. And illegal is in all caps.
His tweets are very Trump-esque.
A little bit. Sad. But no, the thing is, though, which a lot of people have been like, whoa, Tim Sweeney, calm down. Yeah. Because, again, this is a client that's meant for, like, netbooks. Yeah. No one's expecting you to run your gaming PC with this.
It seems like he's of the mindset that this is the beginning of Windows trying to nudge in on other stuff.
And there were some rumors flying around a little while ago about how people, supposedly executives over at Microsoft, are just like, hey, how do we undercut Steam and try and take like a piece out of that market? Yeah. And I understand why they might be like trying to go toward that.
I would be shocked if they weren't trying to do that.
I know, right? But I think if they did something like this for the main OS, everyone would be rightly up in arms, and they wouldn't be stupid enough to do something for their main OS like that.
First things first, they also just need to fix the damn Windows Store and make it like function.
I mean, it is really bad, but I just like don't use it.
I mean, yeah, that's the thing, is you can mostly just not use it, but if they were to institute something like this that kind of, there's some scenario where you would be required to use it, better damn well work. Like, people are paying a lot of money for this stuff. It harkens back to our Call of Duty Infinite Warfare story, where there was a problem with the Windows Store version of it, where you could only play with other people who had bought it on the Windows Store.
Oh, I remember that, yeah.
And, like, the player, like, spike for, like, the first day was, like, 2 people. It's so sad. They could only play with each other.
Oh, no.
So, Tim Sweeney may be a little bit overzealous about this.
But he's not wrong.
Not wrong. Coming on a bit strong.
Yeah, maybe just dial it down.
Dial it down a little bit.
You're at 10, gotta be at a 2.
Yeah. Be at a 2 for now. You work it up if things start moving in the direction you think they are.
Yeah.
And then you can be the guy who's like, I told you so.
Mm-hmm.
And that's so satisfying.
It is, it's great. That saying, I hate to say I told you so, this is not true.
No, everybody loves saying I told you so.
Of course
Who
they
doesn't
do.
love being right?
I know.
I mean, unless you're right about something like really bad, but then you still have the satisfaction that you were right about it.
So it still feels good in a way.
In a way.
It's bittersweet.
It's bittersweet.
In those scenarios.
Activision Division, say that 10 times fast. Activision Division cuts jobs after parent company Activision Blizzard sets new earnings record.
So this is an article from GameSpot from today, February 10th. Yep. And it's a great example of corporations being jerks.
Yep. So the gist of this is Blizzard, who is part of Activision, made an assload of money this year.
Because all their games rule.
Because all their games are really good and sell a lot, and people can't stop buying all those loot boxes for Overwatch.
They gotta get those Witch Mercy skins.
Gotta get the Witch Mercy skins.
I went on Twitter today and someone had just...
Got it.
I went on Twitter today and someone had just posted a GIF of the Witch Mercy screen, and I was like, I missed this.
That animated wallpaper.
I missed it.
That 4000p animated wallpaper.
I got downloaded. I forgot about it. I need it.
It's what you need all the time.
Hey, you know how you run animated wallpapers? Windows 10.
Can Windows 8 not do it?
I have no idea. Actually.
Yeah, I don't know. But I've never tried.
But I know Windows 7 can.
Yeah. Well, God forbid I can't have an animated wallpaper. What a tragedy.
Anyway.
So the gist is that happened. Blizzard made a ton of money. And Activision Publishing who are the division that publishes Call of Duty and Destiny, have enacted a round of layoffs.
Now, here's the thing, though. Blizzard made a bunch of money.
Yes.
Obviously, they made the most money of anybody ever. But Destiny and Call of Duty
also make quite a bit of money.
Quite a bit. Destiny has had a resurgence. Also, Call of Duty, we got some fun jabs in November or early December about how the Pokemon games outsold Call of Duty.
It caught up though.
Yeah, but even then, it's not like Call of Duty sold badly.
No,
it still sold incredibly well.
It performed under expectations. But that's because the people in charge expect it to sell like a copy to every human being on Earth, because who doesn't want Call of Duty?
Well, when a Call of Duty game, when it's like a hit Call of Duty game, then I think they were setting their expectations for that, which isn't super unreasonable, but instead it was just a pretty good Call of Duty game, which is still a AAA title that like moves mountains, but just doesn't move worlds, I guess. That analogy, Mech, I tripped up on that. I'm sorry.
I get where you're going from.
So they still made a lot of money.
It was logically sound.
Yes. Both sides of that company still made a lot of money, and yet Activision was just like, "Hey, Call of Duty and Destiny teams, we're gonna lay some of you off, even though we just made a ton of profit."
Yes. That's Activision. Bwah, bwah. I don't know what else to say.
The only silver lining is that nobody from Blizzard is being laid off.
Yes. It'd be insane to do that.
I know, right?
Also, Activision has kept themselves relatively separate from Blizzard, in spite of technically owning them. And just kind of lets Blizzard do their own thing.
Which, considering how well Blizzard does, I guess, was the smartest business move, and I'm glad that Activision recognized that was the smartest business move.
Because Blizzard just continues to do really good jobs.
Yeah.
Or really good work, on their own, more or less.
So it was 5% of the total workforce?
Yes. Ooh. Which is, I imagine, quite a lot of people, because Activision is a very big company.
Yeah, what Kotaku said that 20 people at Infinity Ward got fired. But it must be more than that.
It's gotta be more than that.
Because there's no way that 20 people is 5% of their workforce. That's just, I do not believe that.
Even just for that division of it. Yeah. So, they do not have a big publishing lineup for 2017. And some people are saying, that's why these layoffs happen, because they don't actually have that many jobs available at the company. But, I don't know.
It's not like...
Because they got Destiny 2, a new Call of Duty game, and they're not doing Skylanders this year.
Yeah, that's the thing. They've got these giant projects going on. So it's not... There's no way they don't have a place to put those people.
Yeah, I don't know.
Also, just the fact Destiny 2... I think that was news this week. I don't know if you had an article about it, but just that Destiny 2 is more of a confirmed thing.
Yes,
now than it
I
was
didn't
before.
have an article about it because I don't care about Destiny.
That's fair.
If I'm being honest, I probably saw it and just skimmed over it because I was like, Destiny, great.
Yep.
They do have Call of Duty coming out, though, which actually can move us to another short story.
There's actually one last thing I wanted to mention about that.
Yes.
Which was just the numbers of profit. The company reported record full-year revenue of $6.6 billion, up 42% compared to $4.66 billion during the year prior.
Thank you, Overwatch.
So... Like we said, they are making a ton of
That's
money.
a huge gain from the previous year.
They have no reason to do layoffs.
Yeah, that's an obscene amount of money to increase in a single year for your revenue. That's nuts. So a new Call of Duty game was announced. No crap. There's one coming. One of these things comes out every damn year.
Yeah.
Skylanders isn't happening, but Call of Duty still is. COD has 3 developers working around the clock to ensure there's an annual iteration, and they basically said, so Infinite Warfare wasn't well received by the fans, which I still don't understand what the backlash towards that game was. People were like, we love Call of Duty, we love Call of Duty, we love World War II Call of Duty, oh my god, Modern Warfare, we love Modern Warfare, we love Call of Duty Modern Warfare, we love the Black Ops, we love the COD Blops, oh my god, Advanced Warfare, that looks so cool, it's in the future, I love that, it's so cool. Infinite Warfare, whoa, you went too far into the future, whoa, dial it back.
Yeah, that didn't make any sense to me either.
The reaction to it was a hard swerve into like, what are you guys doing? What are you doing, Activision? You're ruining Call of Duty. I didn't get it. I didn't get it. I still don't get it. But apparently they ruined Call of Duty, and now they're like, oh my god, you guys are so sorry we ruined Call of Duty. We're going to go back to the franchise's roots. Does that mean we're getting a World War II game?
Yeah, it does.
Or does it mean we're getting a World War I game to compete with Battlefield 1?
Seems like a little late to do that, but maybe. Yeah. I think we'll probably just get a World War II
We're
game.
probably going to get a modern day take on a World War II shooter. You know what? Like, all those old games were great at the time they came out. And honestly, like, given how Battlefield 1 did and how well that was made, seeing a modern day iteration of a World War II scenario and stuff in a video game probably be pretty cool and impressive. But on the other side of the scale, we don't need another fucking World War II game.
There are so many.
There are so many World War II games of all genres.
I feel this way about World War II movies as well.
Oh,
Every
definitely.
year there's at least one, and it's just got to the point where I dial them out.
Hacksaw Ridge.
Yeah, that movie's supposed to be really, really good, according to like who's
You
the
don't
director.
care about World War II movies
but I'm
anymore.
just tuning it out because I don't care about World War II movies. Because that was, what is that, Christopher Nolan or somebody else?
You're thinking of Dunkirk.
There we
Which
go.
is another World War II.
Which is another World War II.
Thinking of Dunkirk. Hacksaw Ridge is the Mel Gibson one about the pacifist guy.
Oh, okay.
But Dunkirk also.
But because that's
I'd
the thing.
forgotten about.
Like Christopher Nolan, great director. I usually make a point to see his movies, but I just tuned out
II,
Dunkirk entirely. Just don't care about World War II anymore.
Yeah.
It's so overdone.
World War II is the zombies of war.
Hey,
We're done with it.
In Call of Duty, all those zombie DLCs.
Yo, we've come full circle on zombies, by the way, because Netflix put out some show where I can't remember what Drew Barrymore plays a zombie, but she's not a zombie. She's just a regular person who eats people.
So it's like Hannibal.
Yeah, but it's because she's a zombie.
Mm-hmm.
But she's just a regular person who eats people.
Yeah.
So we're hitting that point with zombies.
Over zombie saturation.
Yeah.
That now
complete global saturation.
the virus has
Spread.
So video games.
Resident Evil. So yeah, So in an ideal world, rather than World War II, what would you want this to be?
This article mentions Vietnam at some point.
Yes. World War II, Vietnam, Korean War, something like that.
Korean War, I don't care only because it's too close in timeline to World War II, so it's not going to be that
a whole
different.
Lot different.
The Vietnam, though, if someone could make a good Vietnam game, that would be cool. Because I feel like there aren't very many of those.
Yeah.
Nor are there many Vietnam games in general.
No. That might be okay.
Like, it's still
But-
overdone, but it's not as overdone as some of the other options.
I want them to go, like, hard in the opposite direction and compete with For Honor by making, like, Call of Duty, like, 10-12 and have it be about the Crusades.
Dude, that would actually be awesome. I mean, it wouldn't make any sense because there would be no guns, so, like, what would all the people who play Call of Duty would not know how to deal with it.
No, that'd be great.
But the idea of, like, that company putting AAA resources behind making a Crusades game...
Or something of that time.
Yeah,
period, like Viking Invasion of Britain game.
It kind of delights me.
It'd be kind of cool. a Rise of Genghis Khan action game where you have to fight the horde. That's what we should get.
Mm-hmm.
Or we could go super hard into like obscurity and be like the Russo-Japanese War. Remember that time Russia and Japan fought? No? Well, here you go.
Oh god, what if they try and do Civil War? The American Civil... Oh, that'd be awful.
Oh, no, the Civil War sucks.
It was just gross.
Everything about it was just awful. That'd be terrible.
Oh.
Could you already play as Abraham Lincoln in one of the game's zombie modes?
I think you can.
So they don't need to do that again.
We're fine.
They're fine. So, we'll see. This is a cool little story. So as you may know, the MMO EVE Online had, pretty much for the entirety of its existence, allowed you to buy an in-game, with your in-game currency, purchase another currency, which could then be used to purchase game time.
Oh.
So if you were really good at this game or played this game a lot, you could actually pay for your subscription to it from just stuff you do in the game.
Yeah.
Which was a cool idea. And Blizzard was like, hey, that's a cool idea. So now that WoW has been around for a very long time, they were like, hey, WoW tokens. How about WoW tokens? And WoW tokens are going to be the same thing. It's going to be something you can buy with your in-game gold to pay for game time, which is neat. But Blizzard's going the extra step with this, and they're going to allow you to use your WoW tokens to purchase any kind of currency-based thing in any of their Battle.net titles.
Ooh.
So that includes Hearthstone, you can buy card packs, includes Overwatch loot boxes, it includes whatever dumbass crap you buy in Heroes of the Storm.
You can still buy stuff in Diablo 3, right?
Yeah, I think so. So it's probably something you can use them for in that.
Mm-hmm.
And you can use them to buy World of Warcraft subscription time.
Ah.
Good move, Blizzard.
Yeah, I was talking to Dan prior to the show about this, and I was just like, this is so smart because it encourages people to just only play Blizzard titles.
Yeah. And it's basically like, if you have a bunch of money or high-level raid gear you don't give a crap about in World of Warcraft, turn it into stuff for another game.
Mm-hmm. Get that new Diva skin.
Get it.
Looks great.
I still need to get it.
You haven't
But
got
I have
it
plenty
yet?
of schmeckles. So I could just buy it if I have to on Sunday.
That Chinese New Year mech.
Yeah.
So good.
I got sidetracked because Neo came out.
Oh,
So I wasn't playing as much, can't play as much Overwatch. Gotta play my Samurai Souls. So that's cool. Valve is finally going to close down Steam Greenlight.
Finally.
After the flood of garbage that came through that.
So this is a story that broke today, February 10th.
We got this from Game of Sutra.
And as far as I can tell, I mean, they were the most cited source on it. I'm not sure if they broke it or not, but they may have. This is great. This is so good.
The service has been around for 5 years.
And throughout those 5 years, as we actually reported on in the past, Steam's library has been growing exponentially.
Yes.
We believe because of this service.
We talked about how in 2016 there was an obscene amount of games put out through Steam, and the vast majority of those were probably complete shovelware.
Oh yeah, totally.
Or like half-made games that were like, buy it now, we'll finish it maybe. And they don't.
But luckily one man was on a crusade against Steam Greenlight, Jim Sterling.
Thank goodness.
I'm going to credit him with most of this. Because all that he's done for like the past, 2 years...
is really just crap on Steam Greenlight.
Yeah, it's just point out all of the horrible shovelware titles and just be like, why is this game on Steam?
Somebody's got to do it.
Mm-hmm.
He's doing God's work in that case.
You know, that digital homicide lawsuit is still going on.
Oh my god.
It's actually moved to the next phase where there was the judge had went to the what's his name? Romani or something? I don't know, the guy from Digital Homicide who filed it, and that guy had filed it saying, I want to sue all of these Steam users and I want to sue Jim Sterling. And the judge was like, okay, well, pick one. You can do both.
Yeah.
And the guy was like, I pick Jim Sterling.
Surprising no one.
So Jim Sterling talked about how, like, now he needs to fly out to, like, the Las Vegas area where this is happening to go to this court hearing. And he's just like, dude, I don't like this. This is not cool.
Hey, given how Jim Sterling is about most stuff, though, he's gonna do it, and he's gonna make a whole bunch of shit about it.
I hope
like there's gonna be some bullshit because of this.
Digital Homicide is suing him for $15 million. That's what the ridiculousness.
Seems like a reasonable fee for him shitting on your crappy game.
I really want Jim Sterling to just get out there and be like, I'll just countersue him for $1 million, why not? And then win the case and then just get a bunch of money.
Oh no. Listen, man, if Jim Sterling hadn't said those disparaging things about Slaughtering Ground, he would have made that $15 million.
Exactly. Can we check the Digital Homicide GoFundMe page real quick?
We might as well. We got time. Oh my god. Yeah, Jim Romini.
Still sitting at
$400.
$450. Last donation 4 months ago.
It sure was. That's probably about the last time we checked this. Oh no! That's 4 months. You were right. I thought I said 4 minutes. I was like, no, Michael Cox, why? So that's a thing.
But Steam Greenlight's finally going away. What is it being replaced with? I guess
it's being replaced with something that I can't see because I closed the thing by mistake.
You fool.
We'll figure it out. Okay. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no.
But yeah, okay, so it's being replaced by a new thing called Steam Direct. They released a whole statement. It's in the article.
I'll pull up a Eurogamer article this time.
They released a whole statement, which is in the other article, might be in this article too, where they talk about it, and they say that the way it's going to work is that now there is going to be a fee that people have to pay.
So you can't just throw stuff onto it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the thing that they straight up are very transparent about citing as to why they're putting this fee is to try and, like, I forget the exact phrasing, but it was like unstuff the pipeline or something. I can't remember it. This is why I had the article with the exact wording. But but they're trying to have less content coming in to use this as a deterrent, which means they are recognizing that yes, that people are just throwing shovelware on there. Right. And
Steam Direct's not quite ready to go. It'll probably be coming out later this spring.
Yeah, supposedly this sometime this spring is when it's gonna do that. So relatively soon.
Yeah.
Somewhere between. Oh yeah, so they don't know what the fee is going to be. Oh, that's interesting because it says in this article it says 200 to 5,000. In the actual statement that I was reading, they were like, we talked to a bunch of different game devs about how much would be a reasonable fee, and we've been thinking between 100 and 5,000. So it's weird that this article just
is weird. But still, I mean, that's definitely enough. If it's higher than 100 or 200, that's definitely enough to dissuade random people and companies from throwing out just complete crap.
Yes. I mean, I think putting any kind of amount of money on it is going to dissuade people who like Digital Homicide, right?
But especially this amount.
Yeah.
If it's $1,000 or something, that's going to push away anyone who doesn't actually want to make a game. Yeah.
I mean, the criticism that it's been getting, and this is, you'd think that on social media this would there'd be a lot of haters because even good decisions get a lot of hate on social media.
Yeah.
But there has been some, but overall it has been mostly positive because people are so sick of Greenlight and the garbage that comes up on it.
You finally did it, Valve. You made a Steam change that people approved of.
But the criticism of it is that if you're a really small indie developer, like you're a college student doing
or you're a
stuff,
single person making it, like the guy who made Stardew Valley,
something like a $1,000 entry fee is going to be really difficult.
Yeah.
And I understand that. So that's why I would actually kind of want it to be around the $200 to $500 price range, because I still think a lot of that garbage shovelware will get filtered out by that.
So, I actually think Stardew Valley is a good example to use for this, because that's a game made by a single guy who was not working as a game developer. He worked a day job, and he just made Stardew Valley in his spare time. And he put that game up on Steam, and people could download it and play it. And they, paid the money for it. And because it got recognized on Steam from just being kind of thrown up there, it has exploded into a huge thing. To the point that it's going to be getting, I think, a physical release sometime this year.
Nice.
And it's on going to be on everything now, or maybe it's a console release this year. I can't remember. Regardless, it's done very well. Now that guy, I don't think would have been able to shell out $1,000, $2,000 to put that on Steam. Nor would he necessarily have wanted to, because it seems like it was kind of a passion project. So it would have been the mindset of do I really want to try and get this on Steam if it's going to cost me that much money? Maybe not. So I'm imagining a situation where a great game like Stardew Valley never came out to the success that it did.
Yeah.
Which is sad, hypothetically. And this could lead to that. But at the same time, Stardew Valley is a rarity compared to many of the games put up on Steam Greenlight.
Although I look at stuff like that and I look at the success that all sorts of games are finding with Kickstarter and other crowdfunding things, and I'm just like, if it's 1,000, you could, and you just show people like the graphics of Stardew Valley and like a couple minutes of the gameplay. You could do like a GoFundMe to put it on Steam. You could make 1,000 easy, like real easy.
That's true.
So I don't know. I think that if the games are actually good,
it shouldn't be an issue.
It shouldn't be an issue.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. Hey, Lex. Where's Polygon's Neo review?
It actually has come out.
An article on Polygon asking themselves where their review is.
For February 2nd.
February 2nd. Which was the day that the review embargo for Neo lifted. Another great thing about how Koei Tecmo handled this game. So, this game's very good. It's a solid action RPG. It's, like, really well done on a lot of fronts. And I want to compliment, beyond just complimenting the game itself, I want to compliment Koei Tecmo, which is something I will not often do, because I hate Dynasty Warriors games.
Yeah.
I want to compliment Koei Tecmo for, as a publisher, handling this game very well. They released multiple demos for it in the form of the alpha, quote-unquote, the beta, and the last chance demo.
Okay.
All of which included surveys of for the players to respond and say, hey, this is what we thought of the game as far as difficulty, as far as this, as far as this, as far as all these categories of the game. All of those surveys were taken to heart because as people played the subsequent demos, things had been changed and altered to better fit with what the players had responded with. And that's right up until, like, the last one, which was literally a week or two before the game came out. They still changed some stuff after that one to fine-tune it. So, great job listening to your player base, and it's seemingly putting out a much better and more accessible game because of it.
It turns out, if you ask your fans what they would prefer,
you let them play the game,
and then they tell you what they'd prefer, and then you put that in the game, they love the game.
They love the game.
Crazy.
And the game ends up being, dare I say, good. Because one of the complaints of the first alpha was that it was punishingly difficult, like ridiculously difficult. And from what I understand, the difficulty has been substantially toned down. But it still is a game where you need to be on your toes and know how the game works and pay attention to do well. It just doesn't feel like it's bullshitting you into deaths. The other thing is that they put it out and did not do what so many Western developers do, which is say, hey, you can't put out your reviews until the game's out. They said, no, you have 5 days ahead of the game's release to put out reviews. Because that not only is, like, nice for consumers to look and be like, okay, so how did the game turn out?
Yeah.
It's also nice to just see that they, as a publisher, have enough faith in their game that they feel like they can let those reviews come out before the release day.
Mm-hmm.
When people still have time to cancel a pre-order or just decide to not pick up the game. So good job, Koei Tecmo. You stuck to your guns, you did a good job, you listened to your fans, and you succeeded because of it, I think.
Good business practices going to get you praise from us.
Yes.
So this is kind of a goofy story that's adjacent to that, which is really more important than the story.
I think you're going to throw it in there.
Yeah. But the Polygon's review didn't actually go up until, after the game was out?
It came out, a day or two ago.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think it was yesterday.
Because
it was 2 days after the game came out.
Because Polygon...
It's bad at video games.
They couldn't beat it.
They're bad at video games.
They were real bad.
They're just bad at it.
Now, this is, again, something that I would be mentioning if we hadn't done multiple stories on this in the past.
We watched them play Doom.
Yeah, we watched them play Doom.
Doom's not even hard to play.
And they were really bad at it.
And thinking about it that way, I'm not surprised, because this game's complicated.
They also would not give Star Fox a review because they refused to finish it.
Yes.
Which actually is what you did.
That is true.
But you were...
I didn't make a hard refusal to finish it, though. I got fed up with that boss fight, and then I went back to it, and I beat that boss. And I got to the next level, and I died on that level when I was near the end of it, I think. I was fighting Andros. And I was like, is this the end of the game? And he killed me, and then I was like, oh, I don't really feel like playing anymore right now. And I just never picked it up
Dan,
again.
you'll never defeat Andros.
I didn't.
But no,
And then
I
I
think
looked it up
that,
and it was the final level.
but the difference being that no one was paying you to write a review for that game.
Correct.
That was not actually your job. You were just playing it in your house. Whereas the people of Polygon, it's kind of their job to do that.
It took 2 intrepid heroes.
To finally beat Neo.
The review is written by 2 people. So it's 2 separate people having dialogue. Which admittedly, for a review, I like that structure.
Yeah, it sounds like an interesting way to write an article.
I read the whole review and I was like, this is actually a very well written review. Polygon's good at writing reviews. They're not good at playing the games. They gave it an 8 out of 10. Which is a little bit lower than what most major publications were giving it. And my takeaway from the article is their main criticism was that it was too difficult. Which I guess, no duh, given what we know.
It baffles me because if, you're trying to get this review up, like, Polygon's one of the bigger game journalism
They're
sites.
pretty big at this point.
There isn't somebody else in the office who might be better than you who can just do it instead.
Also, as of the time of this article being written, they had the game in their hands for 6 days. Now, 6 days, Neo's a big game. There's a lot to it. But if you're just trying to get through the main story to review it, I think you could beat it within 6 days, especially if it's your job to sit there and play this damn game so you can write a review.
Yeah.
I think I could do it. Just saying. I usually take my time with games, but if they're like, you need to review this game by the 2nd, you have 6 days, I'd be like, okay. And I would buckle down and I would just focus on getting through the game. And I don't think it would be a problem. But maybe that's just me. I know I've played all the Souls games and all that, which gives me an edge. Because it's definitely in the spirit of those. But like you said, it's your job to review video games after playing them.
And and if you're having a really hard time with getting through it, dude, there's got to be other people in the office.
And how trustworthy is the word of somebody who kind of admits to not really being good at playing the game? Can you completely trust that review to be a fair assessment? An accurate assessment of the game's difficulty.
Well, then it gets
and systems.
I think then it gets tricky, right? Because then it could be that the game is actually unfairly difficult.
True, but see, so here's a good example with Neo. There's a system in Neo. Stamina is very important.
Yep.
When you swing your weapon or dodge or whatever, you lose stamina. But Neo has a system where after you are finished doing whatever action or series of actions, like a combo it is that reduces your stamina, there is a white section on your bar which will fill very quickly. If you press the, for me it's L1 because I redid the controls, but it's some button.
Yeah.
If you press the button at the right time, you will instantly recover that chunk of stamina. And you only have a net loss of a very small amount compared to what you would. If you do not use that system, you will run out of stamina all the goddamn time. That timing system, as part of your fighting, is integral to how the game functions. There are a ton of people playing this game on live stream, just streamers and Let's Players, who are not using that system. It's called the key pulse. Who are not using the key pulse. And they're having a very, very hard time with the game. There's a difference between a game being difficult, which Neo definitely is, and a game being just being difficult, and a game being difficult because you are not improperly using a system built into the game that is meant to be a major part of gameplay, but because you are seemingly completely ignoring one of the most important parts of the game as far as combat goes.
Yeah.
Now, I don't want to come off like I'm accusing Polygon of this. I'm just saying this as more of a general thing. In that scenario, this is an integral system in the game. If you ignore it completely and have a really hard time in the game because of that, your assessment of the game's difficulty isn't accurate. Because you're not playing the game correctly.
Okay.
And I hate to be that guy who's saying, there's a right way to play the game. But if a game is giving you tools to succeed, and you are actively ignoring those tools, then you're doing it wrong.
You're doing it wrong.
You are. You can't just completely... I can't beat this boss. I keep running out of stamina. Use the key pulse system. It will help you get your stamina back. No.
Well, there you go.
Like, I feel like my argument stands for itself here. So, it's. We talked about this last time too. It's like I don't really trust reviews from people who are not that great at video games. I mean, it depends on the game too. But at least in a game that's very skill based, like this one, I have a hard time like trusting it. Of course, I don't really trust reviews most of the time anyway, so I'm a biased person here. I know what games I like and I play them, and I use the key pulse.
Use the goddamn key pulse.
Goddamn key pulse, you'll beat the boss. Keep your stamina high.
Let's talk about something else.
Okay.
Yeah, we're running a little low on time, so let's try and Starbreeze through these next couple hours. That was bad.
Oh, no. So Psychonauts 2 got announced and was put up on crowdfunding website Fig, looking for the sum total of $3.8 million. It made it. It got there.
Yeah.
And now Starbreeze Studios is going to publish Psychonauts 2. There he is. Look at the main character of Psychonauts. And they have invested $8 million in the project. Into the development, marketing, and distribution. In exchange, they will get 85% of Psychonauts 2's revenue until those costs are recouped. And then 60% of the revenue after that.
I should point out that Starbreeze were responsible for the Payday franchise.
Yes.
So they're pretty good. They
also made
good
Chronicles
actors.
of Riddick Escape from Butcher Bay.
Oh, did they?
That
was
game's
the same
really
studio.
good.
That's great. So yeah, they're good actors, certainly. The problem isn't really with that. The problem that we find with this is with Double Fine Productions.
Yes.
Because, and I don't know, like, maybe it said this in the original Fig campaign. I don't remember reading about it. But usually the assumption with a lot of crowdfunding things is that they're crowdfunded. And then the only people that the game devs have to be held accountable to are the people who crowdfunded it.
And granted, Fig kind of throws a monkey wrench into that because of the fact that it allows investment.
Yeah, but it's still just people who are investing. Like, companies don't invest. Theoretically. And this was, and we were talking about this before the show, and we're pretty sure this, like, same kind of thing happened with Double Fine, with
Broken Age?
With their Broken Age game.
We need to fact check that, but...
Fake news.
It's fake news. Until proven otherwise.
But I think that if you're a crowdfunder and they do stuff like this, it kind of rub you the wrong way.
Yeah.
Overall, though, I'm not unhappy about it. I'm glad the game has more money. I'm glad they have a distributor. I'm glad that, they're going to be able to do more stuff.
Yeah.
And we also got to see some gameplay of it, a little bit, and a bunch of, environments and stuff that they're doing.
That.
Yeah, there was like a Destructoid article I was reading that had that video.
Oh.
And it was like the announcement for this, and then they went on to show that stuff, and it looks really nice. And they showed off like the fluidity of movement stuff they've been working on, and it looks great. But yeah, I still think it's rude. It's not.
Yeah, and that's what we talked about this a little bit before the show. It comes off as a little bit of a turning your nose up at the backers in a way.
Yeah.
Of like, oh, thanks you guys for crowdfunding our game. Oh man, Starbreeze is going to give us $8 million?
That's more than double what you guys gave us.
What you guys gave us. We might as well just take that.
Yeah.
It does, and it's like, from a business standpoint, why would you not?
No, it totally makes sense from a business standpoint.
But at the same time, it's like, and this is a weird thing because I think it's in part that it was on Fig and not like Kickstarter or something, that it does. It feels kind of sleazy to the backers. Like, if I had backed this game for a lot of money, if I dropped like $200, $300 on this game, I think I'd be kind of pissed off if I found out about this.
Yeah.
Because it seems kind of disingenuous. It's like, so why didn't you just get Starbreeze to publish it in the first place? And I get that it's like the crowdfunding campaign gave them enough visibility to get a studio to notice them to do that, but it rubs me the wrong way. Kind of bugs me. You did us dirty, Tim Schafer. Kind of. So, we'll see where that goes. I'm glad the game looks good, at least.
It does. It looks really good.
So that's good. FTL.
Did you ever play it? It's great. No. It's really hard.
That's all I know about it. And given the style of game it is, I felt like it would do nothing but frustrate the shit out of me. So I never played it.
It does get frustrating when you get good enough at it that you can get through the entire game to the final boss, and then you beat the final boss, and it's like, but wait, the final boss has a second form.
There was a final boss?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
I thought it was just weird space adventures. I didn't know it had a story.
Oh yeah, it did.
Oh my god.
And then the final boss has a second form that's just like 5 times harder, and you're like, But how though? How though? So that's how.
This isn't even my final form.
Yeah. And I don't know, maybe it has another form after that, but like that was, I could never beat the game
next
because
time
I could
on
never
Dragon
do
Ball
that.
Z, Frieza defeated.
So anyway, but it's a fantastic game, totally worth checking out, and the studio that made it has announced that they're doing another game.
Subset Games.
This game is going to be called Into the Breach.
Mm-hmm.
We heard about this.
It's Pacific
today.
Rim.
A little Pacific Rim-y. Man,
it's called The Breach.
Yeah. There's gameplay of it. I think in this article you could probably scroll down and play it because I don't think they're gonna care if we do that. Just turn.
Well, we'll find out.
But you guys can get a good look at what it looks like, and
it's like a little grid-based dealie.
Yeah, it's turn-based combat. So
oh my god!
There are bug aliens that show up, and then you have to destroy them with your giant mechs. You have like a squad of mechs. There's a game that this is exactly like that was for the Super Nintendo that I played a bunch of, and I can't remember what it's called.
There's a game called Front Mission that this is.
Yes, that's what I'm thinking of. Yep.
As well as on the Game Boy, there's Advance Wars, which is also very similar to this.
But there's interesting environment interaction in this. Like it shows them in front of like a big dam, and it gets shot and blown up,
and water actually floods part of the stage.
Yeah, so it's and then affects units in different ways.
It's
so
very cool looking.
Yeah, it looks again simplistic and sort of basic pixel art graphics. Yeah. But like it has graphics. Very sort of deep, satisfying tactical gameplay.
Super Nintendo comparison is pretty apt, I think, actually.
Yeah,
as far as the detail level and kind of like what's going on in it. So that's cool. I hope it's good. Yeah. I'm sure it will be.
It probably will be.
They hit it out of the park with FTL, so they clearly know how to make like turn-based stuff of that sort. Is FTL turn-based? Or is it like pseudo turn-based?
You know, I haven't played it in a while. No, it's not turn-based.
Oh, okay. I always thought it was. See, I don't know anything about FTL. So next we have our voter story about Hideo Kojima. We love talking about him. Kojima says, this is from Destructoid, from the 8th. Kojima says he's not into making horror games at the moment because he's scared.
He's too scared.
He's too scared.
We just thought this was really funny.
He's super scared. He's just scared. So, Hideo Kojima wants to move away from horror games because, in his own words, I get scared very easily. Actually, this is true of Alfred Hitchcock as well as Steven Spielberg. Because they scare easily, because I scare easily, it's easy for us to make something that is scary because we understand what is scary. But in that process, we're constantly imagining, like, terrifying situations. So it ends up giving me bad dreams. That's the reason why I don't want to make a horror game. So Death Stranding will not be scary.
Won't be scary, confirmed. No, I mean, Death Stranding looks like it's gonna have horror elements.
Horror elements, but I don't think it's gonna be a horror game.
Yeah.
Per se.
It's probably just gonna be weird.
Some weird horror-esque imagery.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like... You know, like David Lynch, like some of his movies are really scary and have more horror imagery than others, but others are just like kind of weird. I mean, really weird.
Yeah.
I feel like it's almost more of a David Lynch style thing, where it's not horror per se, but it's very unsettling, bizarre imagery.
Yeah.
More so.
Totally.
So Kojima's scared. He would get his Big Boss blankie.
Thank goodness he didn't have to make Silent Hills.
Yes.
He would have been too scared.
I heard a thing, and I need to look it up actually. Let me look this up because people on the stream can see it if it comes up. Apparently they have this ridiculous hallway at Kojima Productions. Yeah, here's another Destructoid article. So this is the hallway, like, into Kojima Productions.
Oh.
it's just this pure white ether with a statue of Ludens in the middle. And you just have to walk down this hallway and go through the door on the far end to get to your job.
That's so weird.
Like, what is that?
And then after that door, it seems perfectly normal.
Yeah, pretty normal. Big movie poster style things. There's some cool posters, actually.
Oh, yeah, totally.
But that's crazy. Look at that hallway. It's like Men in Black or something. Hideo Kojima, you're a fucking weird guy.
Timesplitters. Did you like Timesplitters? I love bots.
Yeah, I like bots too.
Yeah.
I never played Timesplitters. I played Timesplitters 2 a lot, though.
Oh, yeah.
So I imagine the same for you.
Yeah.
I know we played it together many times.
But,
nobody gets to play as the monkey. Fuck off.
Yeah, this guy's so
annoying.
annoying. He's so hard to hit.
Just played anybody but the monkey.
Anybody.
For Christ's sakes.
Anyway, so apparently, and I didn't realize that this was a thing that was first talked about in like 2013, 2014.
I didn't know that either.
Before we started doing the show.
Yeah.
But there's a project being made called Timesplitters Rewind, which is an unofficial fan-made sequel
Yes.
to Timesplitters. And now we have reported on fan-made sequels in the past, and they almost always don't work out because they're being made without permission. But in this case, they actually went to the current owners of the franchise, which is, I think, Crytek, and asked for permission way back when, and they were given permission.
Yeah.
So it's totally on the up and up.
And they released a 2-minute, 27-second trailer, which I will not play on stream for 2 reasons. One of which being we don't want to risk copyright strike. The other being that it's a really shitty trailer.
It's one of the worst trailers I've seen in a while.
It is about 2 solid minutes of green crystals floating around to music.
Yep.
And then you see the title, Timesplitters Rewind.
Yep. And that's it.
Why does it need to be 2 minutes and 27 seconds?
Could have been 30-second spot.
What
easy.
value do those green crystals hold for me in showing me what this game is?
They're time crystals.
Sure, whatever. I don't care. Show me gameplay or get out.
Yeah. So this is
or a character model or something. So the game's release date has been pushed up from 2018 to this year, 2017. Fascinating.
It's coming out. It could be cool.
Yep, coming to PS4 and PC. The other platforms may be announced later on.
Nice.
Cool. As far as games...
Well, that game just got pushed up. Well, what about a game?
This one's getting pushed back. South Park The Fractured But Whole has been delayed to April 2018.
Ooh.
This is not its first... Or sometime before April 2018, excuse me. This is not its first delay. This is a big delay.
Yeah.
The one thing I will say is that they're lucky that the Marvel Cinematic Universe continues to exist as strongly as it does, because their whole joke in this game hinges on that.
Yeah.
So the fact that they have the luxury of being able to delay it and remaining relevant. So kudos. But it is a shame. But we can only hope that means that the game will be as good as it should be when it comes out, given the pretty high bar set by the first South Park RPG, which is like a good game. Yeah, actually, like there's not much else to say about it. So crossing our fingers on that one. We're about at the end of the show. We got like a couple minutes left.
Oh, good. That's just enough time to talk about game releases that are coming up.
What are we looking at? There we go. Okay. So we're February. It's February 10th.
So Neo came out on the 7th.
That is correct, as well as WWE 2K17.
Oh, the most important game
which
to come out this month.
I'm as soon as my copy arrives, I'm going to put down Neo and I'm going to crack into WWE 2K17.
Exactly.
Oh, I won't forget to use my key pulses.
One of the big upcoming games on the 14th is For Honor, which a lot of is in like there's some sort of beta
There's
or
a beta
something
for it right
going on right now.
There was a closed beta earlier. I actually played a little bit of the closed beta at our buddy Nate's place because he got into it. Game's pretty okay.
Yeah, it looks good.
The basic gameplay's really strong. Some of the modes are not so great. Apparently the full version's going to have a story, so it's not all going to be multiplayer.
Okay.
The one big problem it does have is that the servers for multiplayer are not dedicated. It's P2P. servers, which means if whoever is hosting your game has a bad internet connection, you're going to get mad lag.
Whoops.
And if people who are running your game drop out of the game, you might lose your game in the middle of it.
Okay, I worry about that because this game, one of the things that I think is good about For Honor is it's super pretty.
It looks great.
It looks fantastic.
Yeah. Graphically, animation-wise, it's very strong.
So with that
server,
that server thing actually makes me worry significantly because there's like a lot of rendering that needs to happen.
Yeah, it's not so good in that respect. But the characters are fun to play as. The combat is very well thought out and it works great. They should have just made a fighting game. But that's not what's going to make them the most money.
We also got,
Sniper Elite 4.
Ride 2. Everything after that we'll be talking about on our next episode. There's a whole lot coming out.
Just buy Neo and play that.
Yeah.
And if you don't have a PS4,
just buy a PS4 and then buy Neo.
And Bloodborne and the other good PS4 exclusives.
And then just get real good.
Yeah, get good. Use your key pulses.
Unless you work at Polygon, in which case maybe just stick to something a little simpler.
And listen. If you're playing Neo right now and you haven't been using your key pulses because you're like, oh my god, but it's like, I'm thinking about so much doing the combat already that it's really hard to remember to press the button at the right time and when I'm trying to pay attention to all this other stuff. Shut up. Figure it out. Learn how to do it. You'll be happy you did. Just go into a low-level mission and fight crappy enemies until you're good at it. You will be so happy. It makes everything so much better.
Or just play one of the Lego games.
Yeah,
some of them are on sale right now.
Oh, I want to say one more funny thing about Neo. So in Dark Souls and Bloodborne, there's a subset of players who are like, I need to wear the most effective gear possible for stats.
Makes sense.
The min-maxers you always get in RPGs. And then there's people who are just like, no, I just want to look cool. This was bigger in Bloodborne because none of the armor sets in Bloodborne really did a whole lot, so you could wear whatever you want. But in Souls games, that ended up being called Fashion Souls. So people would be like, I'll post your Fashion Souls. And people would post their cool-looking characters. In Bloodborne, it became Fashionborn, which made sense. Neo has had its own version of that, because in Neo you can actually change any piece of equipment to look like any other piece of equipment of the same class, freely, which is really cool. So you can look however you want. So everyone's like, oh, we gotta make ourselves look good. But what you call it in Neo is Glamorai. So all the threads online are, everybody post your Glamorai. Which I am really fond of.
That's fantastic. Sometimes the internet creates a beautiful thing.
A beautiful thing. So with that, we have been Don't Copy That Floppy.
If you want to check us out on social media, we are on all sorts of different social media, most notably perhaps Twitter and Facebook. So on Twitter, we are at DCTF Podcast, and if you want to like us on Facebook, just search Don't Copy That Floppy or Don't Copy That Floppy Podcast. Might get you to us a little easier. We post a lot of the articles that we talk about on Friday during the week. Also, if you want to check out our other streams, we stream live on Twitch at twitch.tv/DCTF Podcast.
Mondays and Wednesdays.
Wednesdays, Dan has been doing KOTOR. And I just started a co-op playthrough of Divinity Original Sin with Ben.
Oh yeah, I saw that. How's that going?
It's good. We're having fun with it. I like that game. The controller support for that game, like, it's a turn-based RPG with full controller support, and the controller support is so well implemented.
That's great.
Like,
I love when stuff like that works out. Like when the developer clearly puts the thought into it.
And it has couch co-op, and I'm like, I don't think I've ever seen a game with all of those boxes ticked, and I'm just so glad that it exists.
Neo has all these little quality of life things like that in it too. Like, you can, when you start the game, it says, what mode do you want to play the game in? And there's movie mode, which gives you the best possible visual experience and locks the frame rate at 30 frames per second. Action mode, which lowers the resolution on the game, but guarantees you a smooth as butter 60 frames per second. That's what I've been playing on. And then variable mode, where it kind of jumps in between the two. But how many games let you say, I want this frame rate, and I don't care if the graphics aren't quite as good?
I mean, if you're not playing on PC, not a lot.
No, for consoles, that's crazy. And the fact that it's there is like, amazing. Like, I was like, what's this? Like,
Are you gonna stream any Neo? Are you gonna do that?
I should. I will.
But check out that stream. Also, if you want to support the show, there are two great ways you can do that. One of them is you can go to our Patreon page and you can become a patron and give some money every month. And there are all sorts of cool rewards. Like you can get bonus content. You get the ability to vote on stories.
Someone give us $50 so I can make a sexy voicemail.
Dan really wants to do that.
I do.
Also, there is the different milestones that we can reach. Making the Twitch channel was one of them, but there are certainly more, like making YouTube videos and stuff that we will get to.
And eventually getting nicer equipment.
And the other way you can support the show, the free way you can do that, is by going to iTunes, giving us a little subscribe, and giving us a rating and review. Talk about how good the show is.
5 stars only, please. Now you can rate whatever the hell you want.
None of this 3-star BS.
But maybe if we start getting some 5-star reviews, we can read those on the show.
That would be great.
If that's tantalizing. If you want your review read.
Yeah.
Write all the sorts of funny things. As long as it's a 5-star review, you can write whatever you want. So, thank you all for listening very much. Keep tuning in as much as you can. We really appreciate it. And until next week, remember,
Don't copy that floppy.